What's wrong with those drones?
That they could be used to, well, for one, it's illegal now because, well, the government made it illegal now, and they could just be used to do many other things. The drones would have to be more advanced if they were to, like, monitor crop growth and all that, and it would be a big threat to the U.S. because of terrorism. Because anyone, as the technology improves, they could just say they're building some drone to help them with their farm, and knowing they're using that technology to just cause destruction.
All right, we're going to have to end there. That was the start of a really good job with your questions and answers. Nice work. Go ahead and move into seats. On Rose's mark.
Drones have taken over warfare in the past 5 years. And many sources have claimed that drones do much more harm than good. But the consequences of military drones are blown way out of proportion. They provide much more help than harm. They allow for safe, easy surveillance in dangerous situations where it would be too bad for ground troops to come in. Also, the precision of modern drone strikes allows targets to be killed quickly and effectively. A common argument is that drone strikes kill many more civilians than they do targets. But to put that in perspective, in Pakistan, from 2004 to 2010, 43,800 people were killed. According to the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, about 3,199 people were killed from 2004 to present by drone strikes. Of that number, 693 were civilians, only about 3.4%. Death, even civilian, is an unfortunate and horrible consequence of war. But in truth, drones have only accounted for a small portion. And most importantly, drones take troops off the battlefield, saving valuable U.S. lives.
The United States War Drone Program can potentially save the lives of many frontline soldiers in the future, keeping our boys out of harm's way. The Predator and Reaper attack drones can be controlled from a small safe room here on our home turf, eventually eliminating the need for boots on the ground. But does the enormous cost of these programs and the moral issue of pushing a button and killing hundreds while looking at a computer screen in Arizona, or the enormous threat of our drone program being hacked by a foreign enemy and compromising our defense system outweigh the drone's original purpose?
All right, let's start our crossfire.
You said that drones could be hacked easily, but many other military weapons are controlled by computers. Imagine if they were hacked. Drones present no more danger than a ship computer or even the internet being hacked.
But Predator and Reaper drones have missiles on them. Some can even be mounted with nuclear warheads.
A ship can have those too. They can cause as much damage as a drone, especially to harbors, which are very important.
But that doesn't reduce the effect of a drone with missiles. Even if a ship's dangerous, the drone's still dangerous and it can cause just as much harm. It's in the air and unseen.
You said that drones save lives. How can the heroism of U.S. troops make up for their deaths?
Well, nothing is the drones are not, they're not nearly as accurate or precise as the special forces are though. Special forces in tandem with satellites and drones can be useful, but you need special forces to be on the ground too, just like in the Bin Laden incident. They didn't use a drone strike, even though they had used so many more before that, because they knew they needed to know that they got their target, and the special forces is more accurate.
but they did use a drone to surveil the compounds. And a special forces operation takes a lot of organization. You can have a drone get there very quickly and kill very effectively.
But the Predator and Reaper drone programs alone cost $15 billion US.
The training of special forces troops takes a long time, and it's also very expensive.
But Special Forces troops will be ready for combat since they're continuously trained. Another generation of troops will be trained and trained. It's not like you're going to have to build them or get them ready to go into combat. They're going to be there.
To digress from the subject, how could you replace drones? What would you do if they disappeared?
Satellites can find targets, they can identify things, they can be mounted with many of the sensors that drones can, and relay back to the special forces. Instead of having tons of amount of infantry on the ground, the United States is now turning to using satellites in tandem with airstrikes and the special forces teams to do most of its missions. Because the special forces teams are more accurate and they have bases all around the world in key points so that they can get to areas to save people quicker, as quickly as possible. And drones can't take or save hostages if somebody's a prisoner.
But you said satellites were used to do airstrikes. What do you think does those airstrikes?
F-22 and F-35 fighters normally carry out most of them.
The pilots are hard to train too. The drones could make up for a lot of that.
But a pilot only costs $30,000 a year to be paid and trained. The drones, to build one, I think, what was it? I think like 11 million or something, or maybe it was more than that.
The drones could be used over and over again, and they're very effective.
So are pilots.
Well, the moral issue of drones does not outweigh their benefits. The deaths that can be caused by ground troops and planes crashing much outweighs the collateral damage caused by drones.
But what would our society be if we did all of our wars and all of our killings sitting behind a computer, all safe, on our own home ground? All you have to do is hit a button, and you're not even thinking about it. It's almost like a video game. You could kill so many people. What would happen to our society if you could kill that easily? If you felt like you could kill that easily?
But today, drones are under strict surveillance by President Obama. Any hapless bombing will be punished severely.
But still, they're killing people without being there. It's not personal. They don't really know what they're doing. They're killing people, but it's not thought through. Of course, the mission is thought through, but what would happen to our society if people killed other people? They're still other people, even if they're enemies or not, so easily.
We'll do 1 minute.
But they're still under legislation. The Congress has to decide if it is right to strike a target. They can't just go and strike any target they want. They're still limited.
But still, it does dehumanize it. You're looking at a computer screen, pushing a button, instead of being there face-to-face with a person that might be as scared as you are.
If they present as dangerous to society, and if they're planning a bombing, they're worth killing, unfortunately.
Okay, we're gonna stop there. That was good. Yay. Good work, guys. Actually 3 comments here. First of all, we got to go a little bit longer in the crossfire because their speeches were a little shorter, so we're trying to tack on so they can have free reign to have their